Hi, this is Finance and Investing, just Joey style. I want to give you a quick portfolio review. Uh, down pretty hard for the year. Made that big mistake on options right here. So yeah, lost an absurd amount of money there. Plus my main stock went down. I'm working back through to get my margin back to where it needs to be. I've got a couple grand in buying power now. And it looks like stocks are starting to bottom. Looks like we may have found a bottom. I'm not sure exactly, but we're going to go over the portfolio. I have a small portion of NVIDIA. That's because I had somebody sign up with Robinhood and I got $5 free. I don't know if I'll keep it or not. We'll see. 112 shares of MSTR right now. That should grow semi-substantially in the coming months. I have a plan to use a little bit of margin on the way up as the stock grows and gets to safer and safer levels. But that also depends on if volatility is going to be there. We have a small concern with the MSCI thing for MSTR coming up in January, but it's really, I don't think it's that legitimate. It mainly was a hit piece from JP Morgan. It's still a legit thing, but the company's going to be fine long term. But I have to be careful with it because of the margin that I'm on. SoFi, absolutely incredible company, growing like a weed. I don't know how much it's going to pop immediately, but the management team has executed on everything that they've needed to, and they've repeatedly said that 2026 and 2027 are big years for them. So I expect good things of this stock coming over the next 2 years. Palantir, it's a beast. Sitting on 103 shares of SoFi, just shy of 6 shares of Palantir. I have 243 shares of Hims. Hims is an incredible company. Geez, I just love their business model entirely. Advertising, they're just incredible at what they do. I'm currently in a trade on Hims with 200 shares. My average price for the stock is $43. And I'm only $4 away from that trade being even now, which is wonderful. And the charts are starting to look a little better. I'll go over that in a second. SoundHound, debt free, AI, just incredible. I have 106, almost 107 shares of it. This one's just a slow build for me, and I've got covered calls open. This week, history. I made some good money on covered calls this week on MSTR. Right here, it was the 24th. It's 27th. I made another one. Where's it at? Where's it at? Yeah, right here. I sold a covered call for $262, and then I bought it back for 122. So I made 140 bucks on that covered call, and that was over about a day and a half. Then that was a $180 strike, and then I decided to open a safer strike. Was actually I played that very well. Actually, no, I earned 50%, over 50% of the total contract in a day's time. So I decided to buy it back and just take the gains. Then the stock ended up rising up closer to the strike price of my stock the next day. So I opened up a higher strike for my covered call for $124. And then I bought it back for 40 bucks. So I made another $84 on basically the same trade, but it was safer. And then that one happened in just one day because I saw the chart. I'll show you exactly what I did and how I played it. I don't pay attention to too many of these. I don't know what the heck this line is doing. What the heck is that? I don't know. Okay. Anyhow, we got that out of there. Look at the hourly chart. Actually, I wonder if it's just going to show me. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And yeah, we're coming into this little wedge here too, and we've got a bigger downtrend, but it looks like it wants to hold this support and break out into this wedge. So, or it's going to break down, one of the two. I think it's going to break up, but we'll see. Anyhow, I'm showing you where I played it. Let's see, where are we at? Where are we at? November 27th, 26th. Pretty sure I played the 5-minute chart. Let's see if I can find it. Because there was a point, I might have drew it right here. Yeah, right here. Stock price was coming up. This is when I played this on the 26th, so yesterday. The price of the stock was coming up, but the trend broke. We had a MACD cross under right here. I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see it better. We crossed under. We never crossed back over. So that's a bearish move. The trend was coming down from, was this 1 o'clock? 2 o'clock? All the way till 3. The trend came down, but the price came up. That doesn't usually fit. And I was like, man, this thing's probably going to come down. And I opened up a covered call around here, I think. And then I was just like, I'm going to play this trend the whole way out. And I did. And it came down below the 50. It came down below there. And I figured it would come close to the 200-day moving average just because of some old right here, this first candle. And I got out somewhere in this area. So I played that covered call extremely well. Shout out to Shades Trades for helping me trade a little bit better and look at charts. So that's how I played that covered call. So in 2 days, I made $84 and I made 140. So yeah, I mean, 224 bucks in 2 trades. One was a day trade, one was held from one day to the next. I would like to start holding some covered calls a little bit longer than that, but right now it looks like we're going to be changing some things. Mara, I'm in a trade on Mara. I'm going to run that back up to 20. I think I've got an average price of it on like 15. I didn't buy it at the best time. I should have paid attention to the chart a little bit better, but I'm okay. Yeah, 1504. I'm okay with it. We'll run this thing back up to 20, maybe 25. Depends on what's going on. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin coming into the future. So over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months, actually, I'm very, very long-term bullish Bitcoin, and this is the biggest Bitcoin miner. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to run this back to 20 minimum, which will give me about a 33% gain. And I need to start selling some covered calls above 15 on it in the meantime. Probably about a week to 2 weeks out. And then I'll free up a couple grand in cash. So I'm planning on running HIMS, like I said, somewhere between 50, 60, maybe even 70. Just depends on what the trend and stuff is doing, the market sentiment. AMD, I just started a small position in it, so I buy some shares here and there. Wonderful, wonderful company. And then BMNR, it's finally coming back. Ethereum Treasury, Tom Lee, stupendous company. That's going to be an absolutely stupendous company, and I think you're an idiot if you're not buying it. So let's go to the chart and look at the technicals. Affirm. I think payment processors are going to do extremely well coming forward. This chart looks weird. Sometimes it doesn't want to load right. No, it's not loading right. Okay. I don't want to look at the 5-minute anyhow. I want to look at the daily. So we're looking at the daily. I drew a circle back here because I thought it was going to be coming up, but we're under the 0 line. MACD still didn't break down of a downtrend, so it didn't really go anywhere. But it's holding up pretty well. It did drop below the 200-day moving average, but it only dropped there for like 3 or 4 days and came right back up. So I think this is getting back to $80 for sure pretty soon, but we've got heavy resistance there. We haven't been able to break that 3 times. So this might be a decent place to take profit. Buy in here. Looks like we've got a crossover happening and a potentially 5 crossing 13, but we got the 50 right here. So that could be a barrier. But yeah, I think we're going to make here and then probably fall back down and then rise back up. But I think that fintech payment processors are going to do well in the coming months and years. So this should be a decent trade to run from where it is back up to $90. This could take 6 months. But that's a decent, that's $20. That's a 33% trade. Even if that takes a year, that's a solid return. All right. AMD, I'd love to see this thing back under $200, but I don't know if we're going to see that, and didn't want to. Buyers have pushed this up, but this chart still looks like garbage. Come down, RSI has come back up. It's bouncing a little bit. It's in between the 50 and the 200. I don't like the 5, hasn't crossed the 13 yet. This is a support level that from whenever they got those big contracts. But I definitely say AMD, you see AMD in the 180s, solid buy. Anywhere in the 170s, snatch it up. We could retest the 200-day moving average. If it does that, it's a buy. Amazon, incredible company. Chart looks a little weird. Came down hard, bounced in between there. That would have been a good play for some downward movement right there. But this chart doesn't look bad. Amazon's actually holding up pretty well. It had this like all-time high, came back down. I like it. I really like it, actually. Touch that 200. Massive support there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll call that 4, and then an old resistance. That's a very strong support level right there at 212. So in the low 200s, Amazon, solid buy. APLD, I like it. I like the chart. I like the company. I don't like them long term right now because they don't make enough money. The financials kind of suck a little bit, and they need to get a little more legitimacy. Other than that, the company does look good and it's made one heck of a run. The only thing that scares me is it's made this huge, gigantic run. And I think when the fundamentals catch up to this, it's going to come back down here and fall for a while. But while AI is hot, yeah, it's a solid play, and the chart's setting up nicely to come back above the 50. If the 5 crosses the 13, which looks like it's going to in the next, candle or two, we're looking like I have a crossover on the MACD. This crosses, and RSI is coming up. This looks good. We're probably coming back up to 30 anyhow. That's probably our first stop. 30. Let's see if we got some old stuff we can look at here. 20s. Tops here. Might have a bounce off of like 28. So we can play from here to 28, bounce. And then if we did crush that all-time high. Here. 30, geez. Yeah, 33 to 35. Might not be a good take profit place. VMNR, Ethereum Treasury Company, the biggest one. They already own 3% of the Ethereum network, and they just started buying it, 6 months ago? So, they just became a publicly traded company. So it's a great, great company. Now they fell out of this wedge. Figured they would. They could still get hit a little bit hard. We don't know what's going on fully. We're not out of the woods yet, but I think we're bottomed. Bitcoin. Everybody's freaking the heck out because Bitcoin came from $125,000 down to 80. Oh no. Bitcoin's had this as ridiculous freaking movements. It can move 30% any given time. Where's my tool? There. Look at this. From here to here. Yeah. Does it say 100% loss? I don't know why that lost 50%. That's a 50% drop right there. Looks like it dropped another 50% here. Another 60% drop. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This drop on Bitcoin ain't that bad. It's not that bad. And look, it's actually right here coming down to support. Old resistance comes new support, 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 support. That's pretty strong. Now we could fall. We could fall into the 60s. We could fall down to about 70, 73. There's some charts saying that. But I'm liking it. Bitcoin's turned. Bitcoin's curled. I'd like to see this trend get way back above the zero line, though, because it's not anywhere near there. Ethereum. Ethereum's back above 3,000, which I really like. It's a psychological level. Plus, we hit this nice support basically at 25. Well, almost hit it. We curled. We're probably coming back up to the 200. We're probably coming right back up there. I bet you any money we're going to see 3,500 Ethereum soon, unless the market changes. Google, man, Google's got some new chips, TPUs. It's I can't remember, ACSI or something like that. Google's hitting all-time highs, and it probably will for a little bit. Now it's oversold. I'm sorry, it's overbought. But man, people are loving Google, and it's a banger of a company. I'm going to talk about Granny. Hims, love Hims. Love the company, love the chart. I drew this line right here. I drew this wedge. Look at this. Man, my charts, my lines are on point too. I just got to execute a little bit better. Right here, downtrend, coming into a wedge, into a point. Look at that. Stopped right on this support line that I drew. Boom. Stopped right on it. All the way back here. All the way through. Bam. Bounced right off that line. Look at that. Bounced right off of it. And I drew that line well before this thing hit here. I think I drew it around here. I didn't know it was going to be specific, but look at this. We got a crossover on the MACD trend. And it looks like the 5 is about to cross the 13. So I bet you any money we're coming back up to $45 here in the next probably 1 to 3 weeks at best. That's a nice little pop. That's more than 10%. But I'm looking, see this box right here? This is where I'm looking to play. I want to get back into this range right here. I want to get back up to 60, highs at 70. But I'll probably sell this position around 60, give or take. Depends on what the trend looks like. Hood, absolutely incredible company. They just partnered with, I think, Susquehanna and got a big order flow contract or something. I don't know exactly. I don't study it entirely, but it's good. Mara, I believe, bottomed right along with Bitcoin. It hit this support level, bounced right off of it at $11. Or I'm sorry, excuse me, 10. 10. Yeah, I think 10 is pretty much the floor for this moving forward. This trend's still way low. We're still oversold on the RSI. It could drop more. It's not confirmed yet. It broke through this support, but I definitely don't think we're coming down below $8. Mara's a buy. Mars a 100% buy. We got a death cross here, which I don't love. It barely did it, and it just came out from here, so it's not a severe death cross because we were flirting with it the whole time. We death crossed here, came back up. I mean, we've been flirting with it for a while now. Meta, incredible company in the 600s. It's getting back up to 700, and it's curling. MACD crossover. 5 is about to cross the 13. I want to get above here, and then the next stop, I mean, we're coming back up to 700 pretty quickly. 750 for Meta. A couple months. Not a bad leap option candidate. MSTR, incredible company. The chart still looks like a pile of garbage. I don't know what this is. I'll delete that. But here we are. Support zone, downward wedge, which is starting to come into here. Now we could still break down. Just depends. People don't like this company right now. The sentiment around it is terrible. So guess what that means? That's fear. This is one of the most incredible companies I have ever seen in my entire life. And I'm telling you, it's going to be enormous, and it's already done amazing things in the last 5 years. It's going to do absolutely insanely amazing things over the next 5 years. Trust me. Yeah, right there. Definitely shouldn't have ignored that death cross. But the chart is starting to turn. It looks like we might have a curl. I want to see the trend get good again, though. But sentiment's got to get better. Crypto's got to get better. It's coming, though. Clarity Act right around the corner. Don't sleep on crypto. I had not an argument, but I had a disagreement with somebody about the time frame. We both agree that crypto is extremely legitimate and will do very, very well. But he thinks it's going to take 10, 20, 30 years for crypto to do well. I think he's insane for taking that because he's like, well, it's happened multiple times. I've heard it's right around the corner for years. Well, yeah. Well, now we have the backing of the United States government, bipartisan. They can't agree on who's a man or a woman or what bathroom you should use or anything. They can't agree on if they like your hair color. So they can't agree on anything, but they agree on crypto. So adoption is coming and hyper adoption is coming. Earlier this year, Bitcoin was around 4% or lower, and now it's over 5% world adoption. So it's still going to take a little time, yes, but it's coming and it's going to come fast. This is just the 2-time leverage of MSTR. I believe once I really want to see MSTR get back above the 50 and obviously the 200. So I want to see it break out of this downtrend that I have drawn here. So I want to see it get above this line. Once it gets above this line, that's probably a good time to maybe even buy a call for upside if it still makes sense on the trend. Just like here. Nvidia. I don't like it right now. I do not like it whatsoever. I don't like it. Right here. Price is higher, trend is lower. Price is lower, trend is higher than here. We still don't have a good looking chart. Now we do have strong support on the RSI right here. We could bounce. Nvidia is the big boy, it's the king, but big dog's got to die sometime. I don't think it stays legitimate. I don't think it stays the legitimately biggest company over the next 10 years. I just don't see it unless they do something crazy with innovation. Now they got the cash flow for it and they could change some stuff up, but why would they? I don't know. I like AMD way better than this, and I actually kind of like Google a lot better than Nvidia. But we'll see. You still can't ignore it. But I don't like the chart. I don't think it's a buy yet. Palantir, I'd like to see this drop too. I mean, we had support right there, 150. I'd like to see it come back to 200 because this thing's been on an absolute tear. I'd actually like to see it back at 125. Chart still doesn't look great. It could come down a little bit more. We'll see how that plays out. Absolutely incredible company and has room to grow. PE ratio is insane, but it's a growth innovator. The Qs are actually looking good. Turn around, crossover. We're probably coming back up to 622 on the Qs. SoFi, incredible. Chart looks good. Chart looks real good. Why that shaded like that, but sorry if you can't see that real well. I don't know why I did that. See if we click off it and click back on it. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that, but anyhow, yeah, I like SoFi. I really like SoFi here, and I'll show you a good trade on SoFi for option people. So if you're an option seller or you want to buy SoFi, let's say I know some people got some cash laying around. If you got cash laying around, you can make some stupid good money on SoFi. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you SoundHound instead of SoFi, even though I think SoFi is a little bit more of a legitimate company, but you can't ignore SoundHound. Debt free. It's good company. Either one, actually. I'm going to show you both. So let's go into the options chain. We're going to go, this is a traditional expiration, which means the third Friday. There's just generally more volume. So I'll show you. We go out one more week, you're going to see significantly less volume. We go back 1 week, significantly more, like 8,000, 2,000. I mean, geez, there's volume all day. This is your traditional expiration is the third Friday of every month, and that's usually when institutions do their options. So there's increased volume, which usually means smaller bid-ask spread, which is good for you, and more liquidity so you can get in and out of these contracts if you need to. There's inventory. But I like 30 30s. So this isn't quite 30 days out, but 30 deltas, 30 days out. So we're going to sell a put. I like it anywhere between 25 and 27, even 28. So we can make 60 cents a share in 22 days on 100 shares of stock. So you got 2,500 bucks. You want to buy 100 shares of stock at 25. You can make 60 bucks on that contract, which is a almost 2.5% trade in 22 days, guaranteed. So you're going to get 22 or a 2.5% premium guaranteed on that. Solid price for that company, and you're going to get paid to do it. We're going to go to SoundHound. SoundHound's an absolute steal down here. MACD's looking much, much better. RSI is coming up a little bit. We're down below the 200, but we got a little bit of a curl here. We'll see if we can curl and get back above these and then push above these lines. I don't know why I have two of them drawn there, but I want to see this thing get back to 16. That could be our first stop, so that's not a bad take profit. But SoundHound, what I want to see with SoundHound, or I'm sorry, I would buy the crap out of this right now if I had a bunch of buying power. So SoundHound, $12. So this isn't at the money. We're not going to chase premium, but when I see a company at a good place in the chart, solid support level right there, solid place to buy. We could still come down a little bit, but between 10 and 12 bucks, I like SoundHound a lot. So you got my blessing to sell puts between 10 and $12. And yes, we're going to go traditional expiration, 22 days out. This is 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Holy crap. We can make 29 cents a share to $1.07 per share on a $12 stock. That's incredible. This $10, you need $1,000 to buy 100 shares. You're gonna make 29 bucks. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot. People are like, what am I gonna do with 29 bucks? You got any bills that are $30 a month? If you had $1,000 sitting in your bank account, you're gonna make $30 in the next 22 days on it? Not even close. So what you're going to do is get paid to buy a stock cheaper than it is. Now, I like it here, so I'd chase premium here just because I like it between 11 and 12, and this gives us our 30 delta. You want to sell 11s? My goodness, that's almost a 6% trade right there. That's just shy of 5.5% at the $11. So you can buy SoFi a dollar cheaper than it is, and you're going to get paid 60 cents a share in 22 days to do it. Any dividend stocks out there paying you 60 cents a share in 22 days? No, especially not on a freaking $10, $12 stock. Ain't happening. I love selling options because there are very few guarantees in the market. Now, we don't just chase these premiums. It just happens to be on a good place on the chart, on a good company. So we sell at the monies, get increased premiums, take advantage of the high implied volatility by selling, and then you buy a piss load of shares on a really good company. Let's say you got 10 grand. You can do this on 10 contracts. I'm sorry, 11 grand. That's 10 contracts. That's $590 in 3 weeks on 11 grand. And anybody out there sitting on six figures, you got $110,000, sell 100 contracts on it. You can do it. You can open them up. Open interest is there. Volume's there. You make 6 grand on $110,000 in 3 weeks. 6 grand. 6 grand a month is a pretty decent income. You got $100,000. Boom. 6K in your pocket. And the worst thing that's going to happen to you, you're going to buy shares of SoundHound at $11. Oh no. You got to think about this, people. Option selling is one of the best things that are out there, as long as the time, the sentiment, the charts, everything play out. So always selling at the money when the charts look like it's a good time to buy. On good companies only. SPY looks pretty much like the Qs. They pretty much follow each other. We had a market crash this year. We had a nice correction. Actually, we're almost, I don't know if we corrected here or not. Where's my tool? Well, from the high to the low. No, we did not correct. It's only a 5%. So it's not even a correction, and then it bounced right back. So I don't know. It looks like stocks are moving higher. Tesla, I don't follow it. Great company, love it. It's going to do amazing things in the future. Chart looks good. Above the 50. MACD crossover. 5 looks like it's going to cross the 13. I bet you Tesla's coming back to 450 pretty quick. Maybe even 470. XRP, I love it. Buy it. Low twos, buy it. It's probably not dropping out of the high ones as it's shown. And if it does, solid buy. It's a crypto. So there's the portfolio. So this finance investing just Joey style.